Hello and welcome to High Point Music's Gear Reviews. I'm Lewis and in today's episode I'm going to show you the Mad Professor Fire Red Fuzz. So the Mad Professor Fire Red Fuzz is a typical 3-knob fuzz layout. It kind of sounds like more modern fuzzes, like a Big Muff kind of style, but it's obviously got a few tweaks in the circuit to make it a bit crunchier and a bit brighter sounding. 3 controls, we've got a volume, a tone and a fuzz, which is fairly typical of this pedal, so nice and easy to control. For my clean tone, I've got my Fender Stratocaster. Running into the Fire Red Fuzz, and then we come out of the Fire Red Fuzz into the 2 notes clean, which goes off to our recording software. So I'm going to show you a few settings, a low gain, a medium and a high gain sound, and a bit of variable with the tone control, and let you know what it can do. So starting off with a reasonably low gain sound, is where I had it in the intro. You can drop that all the way down. We're going to need a fair bit of volume and tone to compensate for that change in fuzz level. But certainly as a mild overdrive or mild fuzz, it works pretty well. A little bit more tone. About 12 o'clock it starts to get pretty dark on the tone control, so I would run that a bit higher on the fuzz level to compensate. Something like that. And then as we push that volume up, the fuzz, we need a little bit less volume as well. So about half on the fuzz control. The tone control sweeps through that. And then after about here it gets pretty gnarly sounding. Not my preference, but it's pretty good range to go from somewhere here to about there. There's a pretty good range of tones. And then pushing into the higher gain sounds, everything gets a little bit brighter. But once you push past that 12 o'clock point on the tone control, you're getting some pretty crisp response. And then at full, just that extra little bit of saturation, a little bit of more top end. I'd probably run the tone control about 1 o'clock or 1:30 sort of thing. Which I think works all the way through from 9 o'clock on the fuzz control all the way through to max, so a pretty good sounding EQ point at that particular spot on the tone knob anyway. So I've done up a loop doing some lead sounds. I'm just going to run through a couple of fuzz tones in that lead kind of style, so we can dial that gain back down again. And because you're playing less notes, certainly that fuzz a little bit lower down doesn't sound as muddy as what it did previously with the rhythm work. There is a little bit less attack and a little bit less treble response, but it still kind of stands out and it's a nice dark bluesy kind of sound. Obviously when we start to dial that fuzz up, we get to probably that first noticeable clipping point at about 10 o'clock here. And then a little more saturation. Sweep that tone control around a little bit more. Again there it's almost neck pickup, kind of like tone change from about 11 on the tone to about 1. So I think that's probably going to be the more usable range on the pedal, or the more commonly used range, I should say. And then at full fuzz level, we get a lot of saturation, a lot of sound of the pick hitting the strings, all of that percussive effect that lead guitar tends to sound good with fuzz on. And you can back that off to about here, where you get that honky kind of tone control sound as well. So cool, subtle, kind of out of the way guitar sounds, and then more abrupt, blistering lead, kind of psych kind of sounds as well. So there you go, there's a little run through of the Fire Red Fuzz. It's got some great fuzz sounds in it, pretty good range. As I mentioned, it goes from 9 o'clock through to full range pretty easily without losing too much treble response. The tone control definitely works really nicely, and there's tons of volume. Pretty good size for a fuzz pedal with 3 knobs. I'm used to fuzzes that are a little bit bigger than this, so it's pretty pedalboard friendly. The only thing I would say that I would change about it, the only thing I don't like, is the fact that the DC socket's on the side, and that's a very personal preference. I like to use pancake connectors, which are a little bit wide, and so sometimes they foul that DC spot. It doesn't happen with every cable, but if I had to pick one thing, that would be the only thing. Other than that, it sounds great, they're built really well, they sound really good, and I think it's a pretty cool fuzz pedal. If you're interested in checking one of these out, you can follow the links below. I've also got a link there to go to our blog, where I talk a little bit more in depth about how these pedals came into existence and a few more features that I thought were pretty good on them. Don't forget to follow us on social media, give us a like, a thumbs up, a follow if you've enjoyed the video, or if you'd like to leave a comment or a suggestion, you can also do so there, or if you're watching on the blog, in the comments below on the blog as well. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.